I guess 6 weeks is about right for how long it would take for Trump's cabinet secretaries to blow up at the albatross around the entire administration's necks, that is, Elon Musk. According to a new expose from the New York Times, Trump called a last-minute cabinet meeting this past week to quell concerns from cabinet secretaries about the scorched earth tactics being employed by Elon Musk regarding the agencies that the secretaries themselves presumably should be in charge of. And Elon reportedly wasn't having it, getting either defensive or outright hostile. According to the New York Times, seated diagonally opposite across from the elliptical mahogany table, Elon Musk was letting Mr. Rubio have it, accusing him of failing to slash his staff. "You have fired nobody," Mr. Musk told Mr. Rubio, then scornfully added that perhaps the only person he had fired was a staff member from Mr. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Mr. Rubio had been privately furious with Mr. Musk for weeks, ever since his team effectively shuttered an entire agency that was supposedly under Mr. Rubio's control, the United States Agency for International Development. But in the extraordinary cabinet meeting on Thursday in front of President Trump and around 20 others, details of which have not been reported before, Mr. Rubio got his grievances off his chest. Mr. Musk was not being truthful, Mr. Rubio said. What about the more than 1,500 State Department officials who took early retirement and buyouts? Didn't they count as layoffs? He asked sarcastically whether Mr. Musk wanted him to rehire all those people just so he could make a show of firing them again. Then he laid out his detailed plans for reorganizing the State Department. Mr. Musk was unimpressed. He told Mr. Rubio he was good on TV, with the clear subtext being that he was not good for much else. Throughout all of this, the president sat back in his chair, arms folded, as if he were watching a tennis match. And it wasn't just Marco Rubio. Musk reportedly also clashed with Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy. Just moments before the blow-up with Mr. Rubio, Mr. Musk and the Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy went back and forth about the state of the Federal Aviation Administration's equipment for tracking airplanes and what kind of fix was needed. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, jumped in to support Mr. Musk. Mr. Duffy said the young staff of Mr. Musk's team was trying to lay off air traffic controllers. "What am I supposed to do?" Mr. Duffy said. "I have multiple plane crashes to deal with now, and your people want me to fire air traffic controllers?" Mr. Musk told Mr. Duffy that his assertion was a lie. Mr. Duffy insisted it was not. He had heard it from them directly. Mr. Musk, asking who had been fired, said, "Give me their names, tell me their names." Mr. Duffy said there were not any names because he had stopped them from being fired. At another point, Mr. Musk insisted that people hired under diversity, equity, and inclusion programs were working in control towers. Mr. Duffy pushed back, and Mr. Musk did not add details, but said during the longer back and forth that Mr. Duffy had his phone number and should call him if he had any issues to raise. The exchange ended with Mr. Trump telling Mr. Duffy that he had to hire people from MIT as air traffic controllers. These air traffic controllers needed to be geniuses, he said. Yeah, not for nothing, but with the way this administration is functioning right now, I'm not exactly sure that the, quote, geniuses from MIT are going to be falling over themselves to come work for the U.S. government. Nothing like watching a deranged billionaire take a hatchet to any semblance of job security that really drives home the "come work for us" message. Now, Trump himself was asked about the feud and, of course, pretended it didn't happen.
Yesterday, some details have come out about your cabinet meeting with Elon Musk and some clashes potentially between Secretary Rubio and Secretary...
No clash. I was there. You're just a troublemaker. And you're not supposed to be asking that question because we're talking about the World Cup. Elon gets along great with Marco, and they're both doing a fantastic job. There is no clash.
Mr. President, bottom line...
Who are you with? Who are you with?
NBC.
Oh, no wonder. That's enough. NBC.
Who has more authority, Elon Musk or your cabinet secretary?
Any other questions about the World Cup?
Although something Elon did might have already tipped his hand. According to an account that tracks the follows and unfollows of Elon's Twitter account, Elon apparently just started unfollowing Sean Duffy. So either it's true that the world's second most thin-skinned man got into a fight and showed it by throwing a little temper tantrum and unfollowing his former friend, or it's just one big coincidence that Elon just so happened to unfollow a Trump cabinet secretary apropos of nothing 5 minutes after the New York Times reported that they got into a fight. Take all the time you need with that one. And let's be clear, these intra-Trump world fights have been simmering for a good deal of time. Most famously, there's a major rift between Steve Bannon and Elon Musk, with Bannon regularly saying stuff like this.
Crony capitalism, Elon Musk. And by the way, when we cut him off, he went begging the CCP, and that's why they have the joint venture in Shanghai, the Tesla, which is 100% of his value, right? This guy lives on government contracts and taxpayer subsidies, okay? It's all, we're going to get Joe Allen in here for a second to transform it. Elon Musk, once again, brother, I'm smart enough to tell you no to your face. And I'm evil enough to be able to expose you as a running dog for the greatest enemy this nation's ever had. You are a war profiteer. You're sleeping with the enemy, brother. And you've been doing it because you're not an American nationalist. You're not even an American. All you are is a globalist, okay? A globalist. And you will go where anybody writes you a check, and you would take it from Adolf Hitler himself, because you're taking it from people that are as bad as Adolf Hitler.
I mean,
I think until Elon Musk starts letting back on the the true anti-CCP people that he keeps blocked off there, myself included. Not that I want to go on there. Oh yeah, no. He's owned by the Chinese Communist Party. What are you talking about? Tesla, his only thing of real value is Tesla. He uses it for margin loans. He sells the stock. The Shanghai joint venture is 100% controlled by the CCP. This is why he never goes after the CCP. This is why he always backs off. This is when they had the protest. They had the protest about the lockdowns of COVID. He will not do it. Elon Musk is a total and complete phony. He is in bed in a business partner. He's done some good stuff, letting stuff out. With Taibbi and others, it's fine. But he is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Chinese Communist Party, and he acts like it.
And to his credit, Bannon's telling the truth about Elon being owned by China. For example, remember that very first spending bill that Republicans passed when they took the majority? The one that Elon pressured them to initially kill? Yeah, that's because the original version had included a provision to screen and regulate U.S. investments in China. That provision was gone once that final bill was actually passed. That's because Elon is deeply ingrained in the Chinese auto market, and Tesla's success is reliant on being able to continue doing business there. So for all those suckers who think that Elon's just being a patriot for the United States of America, yeah, not so much. Elon is looking out for one person, Elon. And clearly, that much is obvious across the political spectrum. According to the Washington Post, Musk having a prominent role in the administration is viewed as a bad thing, 54-28 by a nearly 2-to-1 ratio. The Post Ipsos poll showed Americans disapprove by a similarly wide margin, 52-26, of Musk shutting down federal government programs that they decided were unnecessary, and Americans said 63-34 that they are concerned about Musk's team getting access to their data, which is the subject of high-profile legal fights. Even 37% of Republican-leaning voters said that they're at least somewhat concerned about Musk getting their data. So when the cabinet secretaries start to get testy with their co-president Elon Musk, it is for good reason. He is an unelected bureaucrat enacting a wholly unpopular agenda that the rest of this administration, including the secretaries themselves, are getting blamed for. Thanks to Elon, cancer research is defunded, education's getting defunded, healthcare is at imminent risk, veterans are getting fired left and right, and a bunch of teenagers have access to Americans' personal private information. But hey, not to worry, because at least Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink are all getting fat government contracts. So if you lose your Medicaid this year, if you lose your food stamps this year, you can always find solace in the fact that the richest man in the world just got a little bit richer. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.